Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That's really good. Well done, Maria. You sang very, very beautifully. Thank you so much. Amazing. So, Hare Krishna, Sanjana.
Hare Krishna.
Over to you.
Yep. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for coming, and thank you to our wonderful volunteers for offering to present the chapters today. We're very excited to hear what you have to say. So before we begin, I'll start by seeking the blessings of everyone here. Thank you so much for coming. Hare Krishna. And we'll just do the invocation prayers, and then I will hand it over to our first presenter. So, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 And I believe we have Rohit, who is summarizing chapter 7 today. So over to you, Rohit.
He's identified as Srila Prabhupada's warrior. Oh, no, see. Rohit,
Prabhu, yes.
Very good. You can show yourself as well when you're presenting, huh?
Okay. So I had to share screen. You gave option.
Oh, good. Yes, very good. 1 second. Okay, you should be able to now.
Yeah. Can you able to see my screen?
Yeah, I think we can see your screen.
We can see your screen.
Okay. I think I have to stop. Just I give PPT.
Hare Krishna, Sam. Hare Krishna, Pitanda.
Sorry, I was muted. Sorry. Whoa.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, can you see?
Yes, very good.
So today we are discussing on chapter 7, knowledge of the absolute. So this chapter consisting of 4, like it's a head. You can say head. Like first of the first 3 slokas, like considering like hearing, it gives about briefly about hearing. And third one, E refers for everywhere. From 4, how God created like that universe, about him creation. Let's we go to from, and from A it gives to accept, what we accept and what we have to reject. It's like from 13 to 19 verses. And D stands for demigods, like from text 20 to 30. So we see briefly about first hearing about one. So first Krishna actually just say, if you want to go to like any purchasing, like normally, or if you go to what do you say, for holidays, we plan and we do some research, right? So here also similarly, if you want to know about God, we cannot go blindly. So we have to know about his research. So firstly, 7.1 to 7.3, just to hear. So knowing Krishna by hearing. Here Krishna requests Arjuna to hear about his material and spiritual energies. And he declares the transcendent list. Who succeeds in truly knowing him is most rare. Means that after so many births, one can know Krishna as he is. And from 7.4 to 12, and Krishna describes about material and spiritual energies. And he says that Krishna, he is the source of the matter and spirit. So we can see like he gives an example also. We will see that later. Just now I'm saying brief. And it's existing of combination of Krishna's material and spiritual energies. Krishna is saying about one. And from 7.4 to 7.12, Krishna is not under his energies. There are three modes of material nature, mode of goodness, passion, and everything is a combination. You can see it's all about Krishna's creation. And Krishna controls 7.13 to 14. And Krishna gives how to surrender, means those who surrender will go beyond the delusion caused by the three modes of material nature, and can we know him on that purpose. And Krishna describes about impious people from 7.15 to 19. There are four kinds of people who surrender and four kinds of people who do not surrender, and we'll see later on about them. And out of these who surrender, Bahunam Jnani, Bahunam Janmanam Anta Jnanavan Prapadyate is best. So Jnani is with no material desire. And 7.20 to 7.25, Krishna describes about demigods. And many people just want to worship Krishna. They don't, not Krishna, like God. They don't know anything about God, but just they worship demigods. So Krishna says about that one. And 7.26 to 30, he says about bewildered and freedom by knowing Krishna. So these are about head, and I'll stop here and I'll share another screen if you give time.
Rohit, I really liked your your executive summary. It's good. Very clear.
And now we discuss about a little bit into chapter. Just I explained about what Krishna said as in the head analysis. So here it was mentioned that by reading even half verse of Bhagavad Gita, one is liberated from all sins and can reach to Vaikuntha. It is written from Hari Bhakti Vilas, Gita Dhyanam Patet. So Prabhu, I need to explain about 6th chapter, how it is connected. So Krishna
only want to, yes, that's good.
6th chapter, he's saying that how to connect about mind by doing different Ashtanga yogas and how to control mind. But in Kali Yuga, it is not possible. So that's why Krishna had recited 7th chapter, knowledge of the absolute. Because it is not possible to just meditate on God or some impersonal feature in 6th chapter. So that's why Lord has said 7th chapter of the summary of the 7th chapter. So knowledge of the absolute God resided. So here, as we discussed previously, Lord head themes, I already said, hearing is the most important from 1st to 3rd slokas. And Krishna presence in the material world, how it is everything rests and holds together, as pearls in necklace. And we already discussed that there are four good people who approach him and four impious people who approach him, and also worship of demigods we have discussed previously. So I'm going into it. So we can see here first three of the summary verses of text 1 and text 2, text 3. And Krishna wants to know about it. If you want, I already told that if you want to see anything, if we want to know about any COVID news or something like that, we see a BBC or any other TV as a evidence. So here also we need some evidence to know the God. What is that? So it's a scripture, we have to know from scripture. So Krishna says that it is difficult for anyone to know. Hardly anyone knows him, but by bhakti only we can know him, just by hearing about them. These are about the summary of verses from 1 to 3. So Krishna is very simple. We can understand him easily and we cannot understand him. It's like Achinta Beda Beda Tattva. It's our Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy. It's easy and difficult, same way. So by the process of bhakti yoga only we can understand. So the lesson we can learn from here that first we had to do the 9 process of bhakti. As you know, people, it is written in Bhagavatam, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Sakyam, Dasyam, Atma Nivedanam. So from first three slokas, these are the 9 process of devotional aspects we have to learn. It was mentioned clearly in Srimad Bhagavatam, and we can see that Shravanam, Shravanam meaning hearing, like when Bhagavatam Parikshit Maharaj was listening from Shukadev Goswami, and 7 days continuously he's listening. And Kirtanam, Kirtanam is already like chanting, glorifying, as Shukadev Goswami reciting Bhagavatam to Maharaj Parikshit. And remembering, we gave example of Bhakta Prahlad Maharaj. He was always remembering Prahlad. He was remembering Lord Narasimhadev when his father was tortured him. And Pada Sevanam, and it's a goddess Lakshmi who always serving his lotus feet. And Archanam, like deity worship, is Maharaj Prutu. And he is also one of the avatar of the, it's not, I think, Shakti Avashesh avatar, I think, maybe. He's not direct avatar. And Vandanam, praying. Akrura, you know Akrura, his famous devotee. And Dasyam, like, Hanuman, how he executed orders and went to Sri Lanka. Yeah. And Sakyam, friendship, Arjuna. And Atma Nivedanam, completely surrendered, Bali Maharaj. And from 7.4, I'm going on summary because I'm not going to recite every sloka here. I'm just telling summary. 7. Summary of verses from 4 to 12, I'm just repeating. So many people ask about that. People say they just ask blindly when we go to book distribution, can you show me God? And can you show me God? Just they blindly, when I'm going to book distribution, they're asking me, can you show me God? So they say that, so we have scientific approach, we have discussed every theory, we have a practical process, but where is about God? There is no God in science. Just they deny that. And here we can see the Prabhupada give a nice example, like when we see pearls, they're perfectly strung and arranged like a necklace, you see, but thread is invisible, right? So in Kantimala we wear in our neck, we see that thread is invisible sometimes. And similarly, God also creates and designs the universe, but he's invisible to our immature observer. We can't see even if light is off in our room or other room, what is going on. How can we see God with our imperfect senses? Because we are always illusioned. And just Krishna explains everything about creation from 4th to 12 chapters, like about water. I am the water. So normally, like neophyte devotee can't worship Krishna directly. So he can just worship he can worship Krishna by universal form, right? Because that's why Krishna gave, you can't worship me directly. So that's why Krishna said from 1st chapter to beginning of 18th chapter. So we can see Krishna. He's saying that I am the sun, I am the light of the sun, and I am the taste of the water, I am the ability in the man, and I am the sex life, which is not contrary to religious principles. And he's saying about through the, just we have to see with the eyes of knowledge, not just blindly we can deny the God. So we can see God everywhere. It's a neophyte devotee can see like God if he can't able to worship in Krishna in temple. So here we can learn from lesson that. So every time if we drink water, we have to remember Krishna. He's the taste, because if we see sunlight, we see sun, we can remember that light is Krishna. Everything we can just, we can dovetail every activity, what we are doing, we have to remind that Krishna is the doer of the activities, right? And now we are going. I think it's end with here and we are going. Can you see able to this, Prabhu?
See text 24. What are you
Yeah.
what are you trying to show? Yeah, we can see.
This one. So now I'm just showing about summary of verses 13 to 9. And this is about all four people. I have given analysis of head analysis. Like four people. D. It's about D now we are talking. Four people are who reject God, and four people who accept God. Like they are mostly, four people are who reject God are there four types of people: grossly foolish and lowest of mankind, illusion, atheistic nature. Grossly foolish. They are all well educated, but they don't want to worship God, right? And they are grossly working day and night. They are grossly foolish and lowest of mankind. They know that they know something about Krishna, but they are lazy. They are like Naradama. Next one is Maya Aparata Jnana. Maya Aparata means illusion. They don't know what they are doing. If you tell also them, they just blindly derive the God and like that in the Maya Jnana, atheistic nature. They blindly deny. If this lowest of mankind, they accept God something, but illusion. And illusion people are they too okay, but atheistic nature, they reject blindly. So these are the four impious people. And there are four pious people like seeking wealth. So sometimes we see if we go to book distribution or preaching, we say that just you take this Bhagavad Gita, everything you will get. So seeking wealth. So like this also we can preach God. Those who don't believe Krishna, we can tell that if you take Bhagavad Gita, and so you'll get wealth also. Mostly people are just, I see in these four people only come to Krishna. The whole Bhagavad Gita gives, Krishna says that only four people. We cannot see any people other than these four people who come to God. Like distressed. Some people are distressed. Oftenly we see the students, they commit suicide, and so some people come preaching. If we go to preach, these people will come. So, and some are inquisitive. Just they want to know. And some are about seeker of knowledge. So these are the four people. Of course, other than four people, there are devotees. They get Sukruti, they come automatically. And we go just give book. From next day onwards, they're chanting 16 rounds. Apart from four, some get by previous Janma Sukruti. Ajnana Sukruti will say. So it's a rare to accept Krishna as it is. So Krishna says that out of 1,000 of births, Bahunam Janmamanta Jnanavan Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlabhaha. It's very difficult to accept Krishna. Out of 1,000 births, one pure devotee will come. So we can learn from lesson 30 that. So lesson 30 gives that human life is very rare to achieve, as already we have discussed about it. Everyone cannot go to Krishna easily. If we distribute books also, they don't take. If we preach, they don't listen. It's all about their fortune. So just we have to be avoid committing offenses also like that. It's like a mad elephant. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that we have to give respect to Vaishnavas. And they are going on before. Prabhu, this is one you want to explain about this one full thing? You have time.
These are basically the. Do you know what this is, Rohit?
Yeah, I know. I
So
read
just
Madhurya
give-
Kadambani.
Just
I
give
read Madhurya Kadambani.
give a summary. Yes, that's correct. Give a nice summary. Yeah, that's good.
This is about Madhurya Kadambani. I know about this one.
Very good.
Very easy. So here Krishna says this is the important for all ISKCON devotees or all Gaudiya Sampradaya. So how can we know that shelter if we had taken shelter of Krishna? So these three things happens. Just you have to remember devotion and direct experience of the Supreme and detachment from material things. These simultaneously occur if you take shelter of Krishna. We can know that if one has surrendered Krishna completely, these three things happen. Devotion, direct experience, triple D. You can remember shortcut. Devotion, direct experience, and detachment from material things. Then only he surrendered to Krishna. So first from here, it's zoom. Is it zooming?
He won't. Oh, okay.
So actually, there are 9 aspects in devotional service. We have to remember this one. It is Madhurya Kadambini. It was taken from. It was written by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Process of bhakti. Even it was said by Srila Prabhupada and Rupa Goswami. I think from Shraddha to there are 9 aspects. Why? There are 2 bhaktis actually. Vaidhi Bhakti and Raganuga Bhakti.
Yeah.
Raganuga Bhakti means that it comes spontaneously. It happens to very few devotees like Srila Prabhupada. They are spontaneously. They are not even sleeping. Just 2 hours they are sleeping at night and remaining they are doing bhakti. That is called Raganuga Bhakti. And Vaidhi Bhakti includes we have to follow rules and regulations. All of us have to follow this 9 process to reach Krishna. Like from Shraddha, here you can see the down Shraddha, right? Means like it's a firm trust. We can't say it is faith, but here the written faith. We can say that it's a firm trust. We can say we have to trust it. That's it. Faith may change to something like that, right? Shraddha. From Shraddha then to Sadhu Sangha. If we have faith, faith means faith will change, but trust will not change. If we have trust in Srila Prabhupada and devotees, then we go to start associating with saints. That is called Sadhu Sangha, second one. And third one is called Bhajana Kriya. Once after associating with devotees, then just we participate in book distribution and hosting Zoom classes and doing some devotional activities. That is called Bhajana Kriya. Then fourth one is called, you can see, Anartha Nivruti. So after once we following devotional activities under spiritual master and devotees, then all our material impacts are clear. It will clear automatically. That stage is called Anartha Nivruti. Then after that, 5th stage will got Nishta, steadiness in bhakti. Then steady, if it will get steadiness, means if anybody say also we don't listen, we just chant our rounds and nobody can disturb at our 5th stage. It's unshakable. And after that we'll get Ruchi, taste. Then after that Ashakti. Ashakti means attachment to Lord Krishna. That is Ashakti, 7th stage. 8th one is Bhava. And Bhava is, we can't expect that because we are still in 3rd stage, Bhajana Kriya. Because when we are starting associating with devotees, we got trust and we are associating devotees, then Bhajana Kriya. 8th one is Bhava. It was showed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu he was just searching for Krishna. Where is my Krishna? Where is my Krishna? He was hugging the trees. And sometimes he was just jumping into river. Oh, Krishna is there. Just he appears. we can't see because others can't see Krishna. Only Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sees Krishna because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in the mood of Radharani. He says, where is my Krishna? Sometimes he get hurt, blood is flowing from his head. It's a very, we can read from Chaitanya Charitamrita. That is called Bhava. And Prema is like completely pure love. You can't see anything. If you see anyone, you will just relate with Krishna only. Like Uttamadhikari stage, it is like. So I will end it here because we can discuss it. Just I told in brief. And here it is all there. Like you can see in Shraddha, Sadhana, and Bhajana Kriya also there is Anishta, Nishta. So much it is notes we can't say because time is very less. So these are all there. It is divided. And we go into further and we'll end it here. It's over, I think. And so from text head, HE, this is last one. Krishna says about demigods. Where I have to, okay. Just I stop going. Krishna says about demigods, like I already said that you accept God is not easily like that. We have to know him. It's not just enough. And like many Christians says, God is there, but they don't describe about accurately. We have to know about God. Like if we see any surgeon, he had to know details about and their practices, right? Because it is all of matter of life and death. So simply believe to God is not enough, right? One must understand his nature and personality towards the end of this, towards, right? So towards this end of chapter, we can see that Krishna established monotheism means Krishna is the supreme. Verses 20 to 30, it was described about demigods. They are the chargers of universal affairs. So Krishna, but if we worship Krishna, no, Krishna is equal to them. I mean, if we worship Krishna, it is okay. We are not able to, we should not worship demigods. So this is about the verses from 20 to 30. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much for your summary. I liked as well the acronym, which worked very well, nice and memorable. Very nice introduction, and then going into a bit more detail, which was really nice. So if we move on to Sam, who I think is doing chapter 8, we'll do questions and discussions at the end. So over to Sam from Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay, that's very good. Yeah, it is great. Rohit Prabhu is talking about knowledge of the absolute. I was going to ask a question, but I just realized that we can ask the question after we finish. Okay, I've got a PowerPoint presentation, but I don't actually know exactly how you
Just share screen. You can do share screen and then pick your window that you want to share.
Okay, so I'll go back to Zoom.
Yes.
And then where does it say share screen?
At the bottom.
Okay, yeah, I've seen that. I'll click on that.
Yeah, and then just pick your screen that you want to share.
Okay, it's the one.
Yes, it's coming through.
Okay, that's good. Okay, I will be summarizing.
And if you do a slideshow.
Yep.
And from current slide or wherever you want to start from.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you just click. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Brilliant.
It's so simple. I can't believe that. Okay, so how do I move to the next slide?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, it's just enter and then it takes you there.
Yes.
Okay, but unfortunately, I haven't got anything really interesting today and for the audience, considering what Rohit just done.
Yours is always amazing.
I mean, he's talking about the head.
Yeah, we got dead.
I'm talking about the opposite of the head, which is
like it.
dead. So that would be the acronym for today, that is attaining the supreme. And Srila Prabhupada named this particular chapter showing how we can attain Krishna. So why did I choose dead as an acronym for this particular chapter? If we begin the chapter, we know Arjuna, he still have his doubts. So from verses 1 to 4, he's still asking questions about, actually he asks 6 questions and then one more question about life itself. So from verses 1 to 4 is about the doubts, and then from verses 5 to 8 he's asking more about what happened when we are about to die, you know, the process of dying. Actually, it's Krishna that is explaining the process of dying from verses 5 to 8, that is answering Arjuna's questions in the beginning. And then the large chunk of the explanation is how you can attain God, and that is A, from verses 9 to 22. And then the D acronym actually is about devotion, what you need to do in order to achieve Bhagavan Krishna. That's verses 23 to 28. So what are the questions that Arjuna is asking Krishna, even though Krishna has said quite a lot from the previous chapters? So Arjuna asks Krishna about Brahman. So if we talk about Brahman, we're talking about the soul that exists in our body, the individual Atma, which is indestructible, unlike the material body that we have, which is full of ignorance and full of suffering. The soul doesn't experience anything like that, the soul itself. But it is only when it is in contact with the material body, that is when it goes through all kind of miseries. So that is the question. Arjuna, one of the questions, the first questions he's asking. And then he proceeded to ask about the self. So what do we mean by the self? Again, Krishna will give us answers to that when we move on to the following verses. And then he asks about the fruitive activities, which is about our karma. What happened to us from whatever we are performing now? Anything that we do that is not for Krishna or Bhagavan is actually subject to the law of karma, the law of give and take. Whatever you give, you're going to take it. So again, Krishna will explain that in the subsequent verses. And then he asks about the material manifestations. And in the material manifestations, Krishna is talking about how miserable everything material is. It's changing every single time, every single moment. Our bodies are changing. Even the planet is changing. It keeps being created and then annihilated again and again. The weather is changing. We'll have summer, we have the autumn, we have winter, and then we have spring. And funny enough, every single change that we go through is full of danger and is full of miseries. So this material planet, we know, is very, very, very dangerous. As Krishna says, that every step in this material world is very dangerous. Our own body is changing from being a baby, being a youth, being an adult, and then being an old. Every single step of that changes is also full of misery. Once you are in the spiritual realm, you don't go through these kind of changes. It's just permanent, full of knowledge, and it's all to do with Krishna, and it's full of blissfulness. And then Arjuna asks about the devatas or the demigods, and Krishna told him about his universal form, which is part, and which the demigods are also part of it. Even though the demigods are very empowered beings, they are not exactly the same as Krishna. They are very limited. They are even jivas. They are not like the Supreme Personality of Godhead or anything like that. So Krishna also explained to Arjuna about the demigods using his universal form. And Arjuna went on to ask about the Lord of Sacrifice. As we know, for example, the devotees, we sacrifice every time in all our aspects, even what we are supposed to be saying. We're using our eyes to look at the Lord instead of maybe like today we can go to a movie and watch a movie. We're rather using our eyes to look at Krishna, going to the temples to look at the deities. We're using our ears to listen to Krishna Katha. We're using almost all our senses. So it's all sacrifices that we are making. So Arjuna wanted to find out from Krishna about all these sacrifices that we do, who is the actual enjoyer. And again, Krishna will explain that in the subsequent verses. And the final question in that chapter, Arjuna wanted to know that what happened to us at the time of death? What happened to us? Again, Krishna explained exactly what happened to us at the time of death, especially the final hours. Because whatever we are doing in our life now, the biggest test will actually come at the point of death. So whatever consciousness that we are creating now within our head, definitely at the point of death, that is what we are going to achieve. So if we are thinking more about earning money and we spend all our time looking to achieve that, in our next life, we'll be born as a banker or maybe somebody working in investment banks, you know, but it's not always that we could be having such positive thoughts. It could be other silly behaviors of us as well. So if we are thinking and then our consciousness in that silly mode, obviously we could be having bodies that is not very, very pleasant. So let's see what Bhagavad Gita is actually telling us. We see Arjuna inquired, "Oh my Lord, Supreme Person, what is Brahman? What is the self? What are the fruitive activities? What is the material manifestation? What are the demigods? Please explain to me. And who is the Lord of sacrifice, and how does he live in the body? Oh, Madhusudan, and how can those engaged in devotional service know you at the time of death?" So the Lord is telling Arjuna that the indestructible transcendental living entity is what we call Brahman, and his eternal nature is called the Adi Atma, the self. And all the actions pertaining to the development of the material bodies of the living entities is called karma, or fruitive activity. There's something that I want to share with people, because not everyone knows exactly what happened to this gross material body. When we die, the gross material body is made up of 5 elements. That is earth, water, fire, ether, and water. So when we die, so-called death, or when we leave the body, what happens is that the fire within the body, that the 5 gross element is, the air is the first thing that we lose. So when we lose the air, then we say, oh, he's gone. But meanwhile, the physical body lying there is going through other transitions as well. So we lose the air, and then after a while, maybe like 6-8 hours, we lose the fire element within our body. So if you touch the dead body, you see that it's gone really, really cold. And then after a while, you see that the body is really ballooning, especially if we don't put chemicals to keep it well. It starts ballooning, and then we start losing the water. And that is the water element that we are losing. And then during that period, the smell that comes out from the body is the ether element of it. And then finally, after 60 years, we might not see anything of the body, you know, even if the archaeologist comes in and then they pick up the bones, you know, it will be merged with the earth. So this material body we have is really nothing. So Bhagavan, Krishna, is telling Arjuna about the physical nature, like I've said previously, which is constantly changing. And he's used the word Adibhuta to describe that. And his universal form is what we call the Adideva. And the Supreme Lord present, which represent us within ourselves as the super soul, or the Paramatma, is what we call the Adi Yaja. Okay. And at this stage, Krishna is telling us exactly what we should be really doing in life. And he's telling us that whenever we quit our body and remember him, but he's used one word that we might actually miss. He's saying that if we leave this body and remember him alone, that is the key word, alone. So we really should be careful. At once attains my nature. So maybe we might think, oh, we doing devotional service. We can do so many other things as well. But at the point of death, can we just remember Krishna alone at that time? Or are we going to remember Krishna and then still thinking about the food we didn't eat the previous day? So that is the key word. So we really should have that kind of consciousness that really enable us to think more about Krishna all the time. And he go on to say that whatever state of being one remembers, when he quits his body, and he's going to attain that without fail. Therefore, Arjun, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna, and at the same time, carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. So whatever you are doing, please dedicate it to me. Even the clothes that you wear, please, it doesn't belong to you. It's going to go through all these material changes. So dedicate everything to me and you won't have anything. So constantly engage yourself in thinking about me. Then you should meditate upon the Supreme Person as one who knows everything, as he is the oldest, who he is the controller, the smaller of the smallest, who is the maintainer of everything, who is all material, who is beyond all material conception. He's inconceivable. He's describing himself and he's telling us that, in his abode, whoever comes there, is definitely not going to come back to this temporary and miserable world, because he understands from the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, they are all places of miseries where repeated birth and death take place. The ones who attempt to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth to this material world again, this miserable material world again. So why shouldn't we fix our mind on Bhagavad in this one lifetime that we've got, that luckily, at least we know something about the Lord. When Prabhu Rohit was just talking to us, he mentioned about how come if Krishna is all pervading, how come only a few people knows Krishna? And if we look at this world, perhaps only like a fraction, just a few percentage of people even knows about Krishna. So if he's so pervading, how come? Like Krishna in Bhagavad Gita said that, as they surrender unto me, I reward accordingly. So if you really have something for Krishna, he will reveal himself to us. So this particular chapter is really, really very great. There are so many things that we can learn from this chapter, especially certain things that we can also do and that will help us in achieving Krishna at the point of death. But they are very, very cumbersome. For example, how we should be controlling the life air within our systems, and then we need to leave our body at certain auspicious times. They are very, 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 very hard to do. But if you are practicing devotional service, it makes life very simple, because already everything is like a yajna for Krishna. Everything you're doing it for Bhagavan, for Krishna. So automatically at the point of death, who would you be remembering? It will be Krishna. You spend 2.5 hours each day chanting the holy name of the Lord, and it's become part of you. So definitely at the point of death, you'll be thinking about, oh, Bhagavan, now I couldn't really remember you. I'm so tired. My body is weak. I'm 99 years old. I can't remember you. But Krishna will be so kind, because you've been chanting his holy name all the time. And at the point of death, he will remember you and reveal himself to you. And even automatically, because you've been doing it, you're definitely going to remember Krishna. And he's talking about what the people in the past, the great yogis, have done to get out from this material world. And he's talking about, you know, again, even Lord Brahma, with all his status, there's a time that he will come to the end. Even though if we look at how long he lives for on this planet, I think we've done quite a few presentations on this, which is almost 21 trillion years. His day actually do come to an end. So no matter what your status, eventually we're going to leave. So why don't we aim for going back to the spiritual world, which is eternal? Okay. I don't want to read everything because I think I've summarized almost most of the things that needs to be summarized. So if I can, okay. Yeah, so now summarizing the end of the chapter, what we just have to understand is that in this material world, what it says to us is that we should live before we die. But when we look at this particular chapter, it's telling us to die before we live. And this particular assertion is also within the Christian faith, when he says that unless a man should be born again, he cannot enter into the kingdom of God. So it's precisely what this chapter is telling us, that before everyone is now thinking, oh, let me have a very good time, let me live my life, and then when I die, I'm dead and gone. But this chapter is telling us we should die, we should sacrifice material things, we should die from the material side of things and then resurrect ourselves within the spiritual realm. And once we do that, once we die before we die, we sure to attain Krishna. So this is the essence of this particular chapter, attaining the Supreme. Thank you. I don't know if I'm supposed to be taking any questions at this stage.
Hare Krishna. Thanks, Sam.
Hare Krishna.
I think what we'll do is we'll quickly move on to Prathamba's summary and then do like a question panel at the end. And that way we can get through all the presentations. Really loved your presentation and how you used the quotations to bring the Bhagavad Gita chapter to us. And really nice to have like a little presentation to go with, screen share to go with your words as well. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So
Prabhu, how do I stop share? Stop share. Okay, I've got that.
Yeah. Thank you. Is Prathamba here?
Hare Krishna, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Great. Can you see anything?
Yeah, we can now.
Great. Yes, I can see it as well. Fantastic. Great stuff. Right. First of all, I offer my humble obeisances to Guru Maharaj, Shri Krishna Das Swami, Srila Prabhupada, all assembled devotees here, and finally, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna and Shri Radharani. Jai Shri Radharani, Jai Shri Krishna Chandra Bhagwan. This chapter, chapter 9, is absolutely beautiful. We've just heard summaries on chapter 7 and chapter 8, and very beautifully, like a pearl, like a diamond necklace, you know, the chapters are swinging one into the other. And now we've come to the Raja Yoga. So this is the king of knowledge, and it's the most confidential, it's the most secret as well, you know, and between us, not many people know about this in other religions. It's only our religion that has got so many points that are going to be noted out, which I will be discussing with you going forward. So we will move on to the very first verse. summary, just an overview summary just before we start. Apologies. In the first two previous chapters, Krishna has basically come to the conclusion that Bhakti Yoga is the highest. In this chapter, right, Krishna is now going to give us the tools. He's going to give us a bit of inspiration, for us to get more, enthusiastic about spirituality and, devotional service. He reveals his supreme glories that inspire, create devotion in Maha-Atmas. Very important word to remember for chapter 9, Maha-Atmas, who are always praising, glorifying, and worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Material nature, time, creation, and dissolution, and on dissolution, the absorption of the entire material nature within the body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is also revealed. Also, how Krishna, by his super yog Maya, remains neutral. It's very important to always remember that, there are three aspects to divinity. One is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. The other is material nature, namely Maya, and then the jivas as well, and then Yoga Maya. Krishna also discusses different types of worship, because there are different types of people in this world with different opinions and different ideas. And to help us, Krishna reveals secret qualities about himself, which once again help the Mahatmas so they can dedicate their mind, body, and soul in worshipping the Lord, thinking about the Lord, and making him the supreme goal of life. We will now move on to the very first verse. Now, the Supreme Lord said, "My dear Arjun, because you are never envious of me, I shall impart to you the most secret wisdom, knowing which you shall be relieved of all miseries of material nature." So look, we all heard of MI5 and James Bond and all this kind of stuff, right? But this, Krishna is just declaring before he starts, hey, this is top secret. And because you are my devotee, it just happens that this is now going to be revealed to you. So, it's quite nice when you get the top secret information before everyone else. You're one step ahead. A word to really focus on here is envious. The whole reason we're here is because of envy. So it's quite nice that Krishna's revealing the supreme Raja Vidya and secrets, all because our nature of envy. So Krishna's trying to counter that, and this is why he's given all these secrets. Yes. And another important word to watch out for or to know is Gahutyatman, most secret treasure, most confidential. Okay, we'll move on to the next verse. This knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of secrets. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting and joyfully performed. Check it out. It is the perfection of religion. Game over. No more, messing around with, this idea and that idea and Garam Yoga and Buddhi. No, straight to the facts, straight to the Raja Vidya. Raja is the highest authority in the land. He knows everything that's going around in the whole country. And Vidya, highest wisdom. And Raja, Goyam, king of confidential knowledge. And the most important is experienced by all of us when we do our chanting, when we do our meditation, when we take prasad. We are getting this perfection of religion right before us. Right before us. Once again, those who are not faithful in the path of devotional service cannot attain me, O conqueror of foes, but return to birth and death in this material world. Once again, remember we had envy. Okay, so how are we going to counteract envy? Faith, Shraddha. We got to have that faith. We got to have the faith in our Guru Maharaj. We got to have the faith in our scriptures and Srila Prabhupada, and once again to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and all his incarnations. So, as Krishna said, those who lack faith in Krishna do not accept his eternal wisdom. So this Raja Vidya will mean nothing for those who have no faith. But even if you have a little faith, it's amazing where that little faith can protect you from God knows what kind of hellish situation, which Krishna has declared earlier in the Bhagavad Gita somewhere. I can't actually remember where, but we'll move on. So the whole process of Krishna consciousness is to develop this faith. Very important point to notice. And it's only by faith does one advance. And Srila Prabhupada in his purport mentions that there are three types of devotees and what level their faith is at. Those who have no faith, those some who do have faith, but do a little bit of yeah, I'll give a bit of money to Krishna. Hey Krishna, could you get me a nice wife, etc. There's a little bit of a transaction going on. And then there's those who have firm faith, like personalities like Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj, and these are the personalities, and also Nabhinandan Prabhuji as well, and all of you guys. So I'll move on. Right, here we go. By me, in my unmanifested form, the entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me and I am not in them. This is absolutely incredible that, so many creatures, galaxies, planets, universes, and everything we can see before us, right? But we can't see the Supreme Lord. Where is he? But he's there, right? It's absolutely incredible. I am in them, but they're not in me. It reminds me of Shri Narasimha Bhagavad prayer that we sing, Ito Narasimha Baho Narasimha, he's within and without. And this is the beautiful contradiction that devotees really like to, read about, because they know he's there, but he ain't there for those who say he's not there, Yes. So I've already talked a bit about the material nature. This is a very interesting. The infinite is not contained by finite beings, objects, or things. That what pervades everything is not within any of them. It's within them and yet without as well. Moving on to the next verse. And yet, everything that is created does not rest in me. Behold my mystic opulence. Although I am the maintainer of all living entities, and although I am everywhere, still my very self is the very source of creation. I really like that. Behold my mystic opulence. It's a bit like, me saying to you, hey guys, check it out. It's like, it's just, and here what Krishna is really, focusing is on like the Yoga Maya, because it's because of this Yoga Maya Shakti is that we don't get to recognize the Lord. That's how Krishna's covered himself. Otherwise if it wasn't for the Yoga Maya, we would all know the Supreme Personality of Godhead, So we'll move on to the next verse. As the mighty wind blowing everywhere rests in ethereal space, know that in the same manner all beings rest in me. Once again, this is the relationship between the supported and the supporter. Krishna is the supporter of the entire universe, the entire cosmic manifestation, right from the atom, right up to the massive galaxies, and yet we can't see him, but he's already there, all pervading. O son of Kunti, at the end of the millennium, every material manifestation enters into my nature, and at the beginning of another millennium, by me I create. This is, once again, this is going to the time aspect of the Bhagavad Gita, because Bhagavad Gita talks about many topics, and one of them is time. And so this is very important to notice. I've put a little structure of the universe and then Mahavishnu, just to show that this is not just happening in this universe. We don't know how many universes this is happening in, and the sizes of those universes are huge. Some of the Brahmas have 1,000 heads, so you could just imagine, the size of all this, and you just cannot contemplate. The whole cosmic manifestation is under me, and by my will, it is manifested again and again, and by my will, it's annihilated. So there you can see Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and then you see Mahavishnu, and then all Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh within the universe globes. O Dhananjay, all this work cannot bind me. I am ever detached, seated as though neutral. This is absolutely incredible. All those galaxies, all those universes, all those events going on, this president getting elected, this president getting kicked out, this virus getting, this planet and all this, right? It's just totally crazy. Even thinking about this planet, all the events that are going on now, it'll drive your mind crazy. So, and the other incredible thing is, where Krishna goes, this work does not bond me. I'm ever detached as though neutral. It's absolutely incredible, because when Krishna sees you, he doesn't just see you from the front. He sees you from every single inconceivable angle, from every single angle, which just shows the potency of Godhead. It's absolutely incredible. This material nature is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, and it is producing all moving and non-moving being things. By its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. This is really brilliant. Like this material nature is working under my direction. It's basically saying I'm the boss. This is what's going to happen. This is how this planet is going to be made. Move on to the next verse. Fools deride me when I descend in human form. They do not know my transcendental nature and my supreme dominion over all to be. This is going back to the, we were talking about the misers in the earlier chapter ones, where Krishna goes, the misers, the mithyachari, the hypocrites, and those who are tamaguni and rajaguni, who are in the modes of ignorance and passion. Basically, in one sense, you're a bit of a fool, because you're not focusing on the main purpose of what you have been given this life. So all these concepts about, what if I told you God doesn't exist, and so many books out there that people are trying to prove this, but maybe they need to read the Bhagavad Gita and be on this Zoom chat. Right, next verse. Those who are deluded are attracted by demonic and atheistic views. In that deluded condition, their hopes of liberation, their fruitive activities, and their culture of knowledge are all defeated. This is really, once again, the word fools is, the fools, the bewildered, the misers, the hypocrites, and it's very easy to gauge, who these kind of peoples are. They'll always be in the mode of ignorance. They'll always be in the mode of passion. And not only that, they'll always be kam, krodh, lo, mohankar, lust, anger, and greed, attachment, envy. Remember, we spoke about envy earlier. So, you've got the beacons there to give you a very good idea, which you could use against yourself as well, which is the best way of advancing. Because then, Osanaprata, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the origin and inexhaustible. Those who are not deluded, this is absolutely brilliant. They have got their mind and they've got their buddhi totally under control because they have rendered service unto the Supreme Lord. They've sacrificed everything. They wake up at 4:30, touch wood, Hare Krishna, in the mornings and do their rounds, and they come to these Zoom classes, try to get involved in devotional activities. And once again, Krishna recognized them as Maha Atmas. So all of us here, to some degree, are Maha Atmas. And we want to make sure we want to be fantastic Maha Atmas. And the greatest Maha Atmas for us in our Hare Krishna movement is His Divine Grace. You can see him doing devotional service here. Oh, and another great, another point I like to make here is, about Mahatmas Krishna's been talking about in this chapter? Actually, the qualities of these are given later on in chapter 16, verses 1-3, where Krishna talks about their fearlessness, purity of mind. But I won't go into that because that's a different chapter. But what I'm trying to show here is how the Bhagavad Gita is linked. One chapter is linked to another. Okay, I think we're nearly just under halfway through. Always chanting my glories and endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me, these great personalities perpetually worship me with devotion. Once again, Mahatmas, always praising, glorifying the Lord, doing austere vows, Ekadashi, and recognizing that the Lord is with them within their heart. Move on to the next verse. Others who are engaged in the cultivation are not others who are engaged in the cultivation knowledge worship the Supreme Lord as one without a second, diverse in many, and in the universal form. See, this is the absolutely brilliant thing about Krishna. And I really, and this is what, really, I was thinking about this. In some other religions and philosophy, they say, if you do not accept our religion and our teacher or our God or our Murti or whatever, you're going to burn in hell and it's all going to be game over for you. You're in big, real bad situation. And they try to scare you and pick on you, and but here this is absolutely incredible. Krishna goes, no man, if you're an Aborigine or you're a Red Indian or you're an Eskimo, I don't care. If you want to worship Prakriti, the flowers, the trees, etc., I accept it because it's me. I'm there already. But if you want to worship the Devtas, you can worship them. That's fine by me. However, it's best to worship me direct, because by worship me, you automatically worship everything else. Because when you do worship the flower, the sun, the moon, you're actually worshiping if it's the heat, you're worshiping, that heat's origin is Krishna. And if it's a flower's beauty you're worshiping, that beauty is Krishna. So moving on to the next verse. But it is I am who the ritual, I the sacrifice, the offering to the ancestors, the healing herb, the transcendental chant. I'm the butter, the fire, and the offering. Krishna starts talking about sacrifice very early on. I think it's chapter 2 and also in chapter 3 in Garam Yoga, where how your actions can be moved into, make them a sacrifice by offering them, and that's what our life should be all about, sacrificing our mind, body, and intellect to the service of the Supreme Lord by engaging our senses. I'm the father of the universe and the mother. This is absolutely brilliant. Some people only have a concept that God is the father, and you never hear that they'll say God is the mother. But here, yes, God is the father, God is the mother, the support, and goes one step further. I'm the grandfather as well and the grandmother, which is absolutely brilliant. No loopholes, no empty space. I am the object of knowledge, the purifier, and the symbol Om. I am also the Rik, Sama, and Rajveds. I am the goal sustainer, the master, the witness, the abode, the refuge, and the most dear friend. I am the creation and the annihilation, the basis of everything, the resting place, and the eternal seed. I really do. This verse, all that Krishna is talking about his qualities here. It's really nice. He also says, I am the most dear friend. And that's what everyone here is looking for. That one yari, that one friendship that we don't have to worry about and we can always rely on. Oh, Arjun, I control heat, rain, drought. I am mortality. I'm also death personified, and being, both being and non-being are in me. They say, I'm also death personified. One of the nursing their prayers, it says Mrityu. I can't remember the words, but it says that even Mrityu is afraid of Krishna. Mrityu. I can't remember the exact words. Apologies. But there is a prayer which, even death personified is afraid of the Supreme Lord. Those who study the Vedas and drink the Soma juice, seekingly heavenly planets, worship me indirectly. They take their birth on the planet of Indra, where they enjoy godly delights. Once again, this just shows them a very open-minded, when they enjoy their sense pleasures in the heavenly planets, they return to the mortal earth again. Through the Vedic Krishna, they only achieve a flickering happiness. So, really, I don't fancy going into Indra Lok or any of the higher loks, only to come back here, and I don't think it's welcome back. I think it's more of a slap back, it's definitely not welcome back, 22. But those who worship me with devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and preserve what they have. Now, this is a very interesting verse here because it is right in the middle of the Bhagavad Gita. We already are aware of that. The Mahabharata is huge. They say it's 50 times larger than the Bible. And right in the middle of the Mahabharata is the Bhagavad Gita, which is 18 chapters. Chapter 9, you could say, give or take, is towards the middle of the whole Mahabharata, the whole Bhagavad Gita, and this is the verse that's right in it. And to be honest, the whole Bhagavad Gita is like a garland of necklaces, and now this is the diamond that sticks out in the necklace. You can see Yashoda there, she's got a necklace on. So the big pearls you see, that's this verse here. Whatever a man may sacrifice to the goddess O son of Kunti is really meant for me alone, but it is offered without true understanding. We've already discussed this with regards to worship. I am the only enjoyer and the only object of sacrifice. Those who do not recognize my true transcendental nature fall down. Those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings. Those who worship the ancestors go to the ancestors, and those who worship me will live with me. And once again, we were talking about this democracy, we're talking about this open-mindedness. Krishna goes, all right, like you really like your uncle who passed away, you want to go to him, okay, I'll arrange another planet, another destination, so you can go to your ancestors. You want to go to a higher planetary system to enjoy a particular sense gratification, you can go. So what can be more broad-minded and open-minded than this, rather than you will believe in me, because if you don't, I'm going to cast you down to hell. Absolutely. I mean, this is what attracts me about the Bhagavad Gita. And also this, if one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, fruit and water, I will accept it. Once again, look, I don't care who you are. You could be the lowest of the low. You could be a dog eater. You could be a sannyasi. You could be a Goswami. As long as you're rendering service unto me and your, devotional service, I will accept. O son of Kunti, all that you do, all that you eat, all that you offer and give away, as well as all austerities that you perform, should be done as an offering to me. We've already spoken about this in chapter 2 and chapter 3, where Krishna talks about, sacrifice, Garam Yog. So Krishna is just reinforcing that here. In this way, you will be free from all reactions of good and ill deeds. And by this principle of renunciation, you will be liberated and come to me. And remember, this is a promise. This is a promise that Krishna is giving. This is so beautiful. I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all. But, and this is a very big but, whoever renders service unto me in devotion as a friend is in me, and I am also a friend to him. And now this is the reason I got these pictures, because all these personalities were envious of the Lord. Putna, Kams, Ravan, Hiranyakashipu, and what I'm trying to get at here is, look, we envy the Lord, but the Lord doesn't envy us. This is, I just don't know what to say. I'm just memorized, because usually if somebody envies you, you usually have that same envy back. So this is absolutely incredible. Oh, sorry, Hiranyakash, sorry, is the demon. Even if one commits the most abominable actions, if he's engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated. He quickly becomes righteous and attains lasting peace, O son of Kunti. Declare it boldly, my devotee never perishes. This is, once again, we're talking about that promise, and here is that promise. If Krishna can protect an elephant, then why isn't he not going to protect us? And once again, I've always said this about Krishna. O son of Bharat, those who take shelter of me, though they be of lower birth, woman, Vaishya, Shudras, can approach the supreme destination. How much greater than are the Brahmins, the righteous, the devotees, and the saintly kings who in this temporary miserable world engage in loving devotional service unto me. And once again, what Prahlad Maharaj said, the 9 devotional processes, I'm just re-putting there because, you could see it was discussed in chapter 7, it's just discussed in chapter 8, and this is how the Bhagavad Gita is so interlinked when it comes to all these different, processes of devotional service. And finally, like I always say, Krishna puts a massive positive spin right at the end of every, in my opinion, in every chapter. And this is a very beautiful verse. Engage your mind in me, always think of me, offer your base senses unto me, worship me, being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. At this point, I would really like something I was reading about in the Nectar of Devotion, recently on page 77, Srila Prabhupada said, to perform devotional service means to follow in the steps of Radharani, and the devotees in Vrindavan put themselves under the care of Radharani in order to achieve perfection in devotional service. So Krishna is saying, yes, engage your mind with me, and then surely you will come to me. But what we definitely need to remember here is that we follow Shri Radharani, and in the footsteps of Shri Radharani. That is the key to Krishna. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Radharani, Jai Shri Krishna. Hare.
Hare Krishna, thanks, Prasamba. What a brilliant summary, verse by verse, complete and comprehensive. And I really, really loved it. The photos that went with every slide, your passion as always. Just a very, very brilliant presentation. So I'd now like to open the floor to any questions that anyone might have had for any of the presenters. Even the presenters can cross-question each other. So go ahead if anyone wants to take the first question.
I wanted to just make a point. Really good presentations, all 3 of them. And Rohit, we put him in the deep end because we only met him, I think, on Thursday. So he also produced very nice effort. And Sam, amazing, nice acronym, as well as Rohit, as well as, and Pitambar, love it. And your comments, especially about the grandfather and all that, yeah, you put a different perspective. And Sam, I like that point you made at the end. You've got to die to live effectively, isn't it? Die to live while we're here. Die from the material body so we can live in the spirit. Love it. Really good. That actually gave a little different angle. So really appreciate that. I think there was one comment you said, one of you said, 2 hours the sadhu sleeps because he's in Raganuga Bhakti. And I actually read that even those 2 hours, the pure devotee, he's actually doing, he's not sleeping, he's doing Manasi Seva in the spiritual world. So that put another different light on how the Raganuga Bhakta, the devotee who's constantly and spontaneously in devotion, he's 24/7 thinking about the Lord. So that's quite incredible. So I just wanted to share that, and I just wanted to congratulate all of you, actually.
Yeah, brilliant comment. Really nice to learn that as well. What great personalities. And the same, actually, we'd just like to congratulate everyone for such great summaries. It was really a pleasure to actually sit and listen to them. Really nice. Sam, did you mention that you had a question for Rohit?
Yes, but in the course of the presentation, it kind of answered itself. I was going to ask Rohit about why is it that if Krishna is all pervading, how come that only a few people on the planet actually know Krishna? That it kind of answered itself. But if he's got any comment or you want to elaborate further, he can. Or if anyone else would like to elaborate why Krishna is all pervading, but only few people knows him.
Yeah, I think just like reiterated in chapter 9, which is so beautiful, what a beautiful chapter, is this idea of envy and how I think it's kind of Krishna's there, but we need the tools to comprehend him, and one of those major tools is just forgetting our envy, sacrificing our envy. Certainly something to bring in the presidential election that I think Donald Trump might need to learn.
Hare Krishna, can you hear me?
Yes, yeah, we can. Go ahead.
Actually, this was not said by Krishna now in 7th chapter. You have to go to, I think, 16th chapter and 17th chapter. 16th chapter and divine and demonic features, and he told he judges according to divine and demonic quality. There are asuric and demigods, devotee and non-devotee. Because like if we see example, there are children to mother. Everyone is actually a children to Krishna, but if we if we give chocolate to, if there is example, I'll say, like if father gives 2 chocolates, right? And if like we are child, same chocolate we are offering to Lord, father feels happy, oh my son loves me, but still he right, you understand, I think.
Yeah. A good example.
Yeah, really good example.
Says, there are 2 sons to 1 father. He gives chocolates to them easily. One son eats chocolate without giving father, but another son will give to chocolate. According to Lord, everyone is equally. Like he says, all are my sons. Mamai Vamsho Jivaloke Bhuta Sanatanaha. He says that. Everyone in 15th chapter. Due to hard struggling our senses, we want to enjoy like Krishna from. So that's why we came here. You have to know that. Why we want to enjoy like Krishna. Again, we are asking questions. And why after coming here and we are asking, that's what people just think. Why to me? Because we want to enjoy like Krishna. We have to decide in Goloka or Vaikuntha spiritual planet. Why we are, after coming here, we are suffering. That is not good. This is not good. And so many problems. And why only few people worship Krishna? Why all cannot worship Krishna? If why Krishnaism is not there in other countries, only in India, why Hindu God, they say like that. but it's not in that case, right? Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, I think you raised some really good points there, and especially actually bringing in chapter 17 is so good because it reminded me that that we think that we don't worship Krishna, but in chapter 17 they talk about the divisions of faith and how even if you're indirectly, so you might be worshipping the most material thing, but the elements, the energy of Krishna behind that, that's actually indirectly Krishna is enjoying your worship of that most material thing. Because indirectly, but actually it's just better for you to make that contact and go back to the spiritual world, and then you're not suffering, you've reestablished that relationship. So even people who have no idea about Krishna, if they're, you know, like Pratamba was mentioning, perhaps worshipping a flower unknowingly, they are still actually worshipping that all-pervading aspect of Krishna. It's just that they don't know. There's kind of a cloud. Any other questions or comments, either developing that point?
Do you got clear to my question, answer, or?
Yes, it's fine.
Yeah.
Very good. So we've got another session at 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's not a stop. So I think good time to stop.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks for your blessings, for your presentations, for your comments and questions. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. And please do join us.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
We're doing a parikram of Radha Kund at 3 o'clock. So welcome to join us. It'll be very interesting.
Yeah, I'll try and join if I can.
Yes, of course. How are you, Sanjana? Are you busy?
Yeah, doing well. So it's finally reading week for me. So I have a week